Oh, it does say 7:30. Well, we're 5 minutes early.
You have good memory. It's EPSDT.
I have no idea. All right, we're
I'm hearing that there's documents for the public available.
All right, are we pledging?
yeah. Brian's got something he needs to ask first.
I thought I was just being the lead one.
Talk about this.
You you were until you weren't.
Herding cats, dear herding cats.
Good evening. Let me start out by apologizing for our late start. We were in closed session and we had some items that required board attention. So our most humble apologies to the members of the audience and anybody watching at home. We're going to start out this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you join me? Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good call. So we're going to get started. We reconvene the meeting. We do have a full quorum here tonight. I would like to report action that was taken in closed session. In closed session today by motion of member Don Perfect, seconded by Roger Dome, the Board of Education voted to approve the readmission of student 24-02 effective August 18, 2025, removing the previously imposed suspended expulsion conditions. The roll call vote was as follows. The ayes were Darren Drum, Dan Summers, Roger Dome, Don Perfect. The nays were Maya Phillips. Next item to report out on in closed session. In closed session today, by motion of member Don Perfect, seconded by member Dan Summers, the Board of Education voted to approve the full readmission of student 23-11 effective August 18th, 2025, removing the previously imposed suspended expulsion conditions. The roll call vote of the board was as follows. The ayes were Roger Dome, Dan Summers, Darren Drum, Maya Phillips, Don Perfect. There was nobody in opposition. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is instruction to address the governing board. Mr. Dome, will you please take it over?
The Ramona Unified School District values your participation in school board meetings to support your engagement. Please follow these guidelines. Orange, request to be heard cards are available to those wishing to speak on any agenda item under
Here we go. Oh, look,
Item E,
he has
public
backwards
comment.
reading.
Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, a total of 15 minutes per item. Submit completed cards to the recording secretary before the item begins. Late cards will not be accepted. Address all comments to the board and be respectful of others. Public comment is for topics not listed in the agenda and follow the same time limits. Thanks for making this half the size.
Keep it, sir. All right, next item on the agenda is item C5, which is the approval of the agenda.
I'll move approval of the agenda.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item C6, which is the approval of the consent calendar.
I would like to move approval and pull items H1 and C7 from the consent calendar and consider them separately, please.
You said H1 and C7, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay, it sounds like that motion may fail for lack of a second. Is there another motion? To approve the consent calendar.
I'll second it, it's fine.
You'll second the first motion, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor of Ms. Phillips' motion?
Aye.
Aye. It's just acceptance of gifts and
What gives?
contracted services. Okay.
Uh,
I thought it was
C7
C7.
is
I'm
approval
sorry.
of the minutes.
I looked at it the wrong one.
Okay.
Oh, that.
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
So we've
C7.
got two
I
votes.
think we need to address it and get it over with.
We need to clarify what we're voting on. I'm not sure.
We're voting to pull those two items from the consent calendar and hear them individually.
I'll vote in the affirmative.
Okay?
Aye.
I also will vote aye, so we will, please remind me when we get to those items to bring them up for conversation. Well, the next one is item C7, so I got that one. I got one in a row. Okay, Maya, you asked to have it pulled? Please, the floor is yours.
So I would like to address the meeting minutes. First, I would like to compliment Karina on the outstanding job she did summarizing board member comments from June 26. She captured the essence of the remarks beautifully with precision and elegance in both form and content. With regard to May 8 and June 9 meeting minutes, I have reviewed the video recordings carefully and stand by my corrections. The statements were made exactly as I described. I make a motion to adopt the May 8th and June 9 minutes with the corrections I emailed to all of you on August 6th. And before we vote, I would like to ask my fellow board members who watched the video or read the transcript of my comments that I sent to all of you on August 6th, about 8 days ago. So, don't read. Okay. Nobody else read.
I just nodded yes.
Okay, oh, you're right, okay. So, and also, just to clarify, since the May 8th and June 9th meeting minutes are on today's agenda, that means the transcripts from those meetings, along with my corrections that I'm holding here, will be attached to today's minutes and posted online for the public, correct? Corinne already has them electronically.
Is that a, okay. Are you bringing a change to the agenda right now? Because the transcripts are not part of the agenda.
Right.
It's part of the agenda, the meeting minutes. And
That's not my question.
Meeting minutes.
So the transcripts are not part of the agenda. Why don't we just dive into this whole agenda conversation? Does that work for everybody?
Well, I made a motion. Can we handle that first?
Well, sure. Is there a second to that motion? Okay, I
Motion
believe that
to approve the minutes with the corrections I made.
that was the motion that was on the floor, right? I asked for a second and I did not hear a second. So for lack of a second, the motion is going to fail. So now that that motion has failed, is there an alternative motion for item C7?
Possibly, but I have some questions. That's what I don't understand. So this is the full transcript.
No, that's the underlined are a couple of corrections I made to the summary of my board member comment that was made on.
So this is the transcript. This
no,
is the part you're
transcript
adding.
further behind. The transcript is to show that those statements were made. That
Oh, that's the
I'm
transcript.
corrections according to the
So
corrections.
you're asking just for this section.
No, I'm asking for the underlined corrections to be part of the meeting minutes of my board member comment that's in there right now. Those are just a couple of corrections I wanted to make to the summary of my board member comments.
Okay.
It just is more accurately reflects what I said and what I didn't say.
Okay, so you just want this to be changed?
Yeah,
and-
so only the underlined portions, everything else is already as it is
Okay,
right there right now in the minutes. And those are the transcript from the video to show that those statements I underlined were made.
okay. So this is obviously important to you. This is what you believe needs to be conveyed. So I'll make a motion to move forward and make this change in the minutes.
So are you seconding my motion?
No, your motion failed.
I made a
Okay,
new
okay.
motion because yours failed, yeah.
I will second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there discussion?
I can see that my board colleague feels passionately about this topic and wants to be sure that her her statements are conveyed and memorialized in our meeting minutes accurately, in her opinion. And I'm looking at everything you've provided, and I was there for the conversation, right? I don't want to get into a situation where our meeting minutes become transcripts of meetings. That becomes less useful for those who are looking at meeting minutes to understand the actions taken by the board. So I would never expect that my exact words be quoted in meeting minutes when it's really just a recap of what happened, primarily about board actions. So I'll probably roll along with it this time because I know how passionately Maya feels about this, but it's not something that I want to see happen in the future.
Dan, you have any comments?
I understand Maya's passion on this, and the ethnic studies thing is her primary issue, and she's worked really hard on it, and she wants to be understood. I fully understand that, and I would go along with the changes if that is the motion.
My comments, thank you. You done?
Yeah.
Okay. My comments are very similar to Dawn's, is that the intent of minutes of a government meeting are never to be transcripts. They are to detail the votes, the action that was taken during the meeting, not what was said during the meeting. We provide recordings for anybody who's interested in what was said. So if this is going to be a continued problem, I'm not going to support it, because it is incredibly burdensome on staff if they're asking for specific transcripts of what took place during the meeting, and that's not the intent. That's not the intent according to Robert's Rules of Orders. Robert's Rules says that minutes should record the actions taken by the body. So if your desire is to continue to ask for exact quotes, I'm not going to support it tonight, and I'm not going to support it next month.
The intention was not exact quotes. Understand, summaries are not word by word quotes. But let me finish, please, Darren. But funding, just any funding, is very different from federal funding. Or, for example, any request is very different from an agenda item request. For example, removal something from a board policy, ethnic studies from board policy, is very where it never existed. It's different from removing ethnic studies language from administrative regulation, where it does exist. Or if I raised one issue and it says I raised different issue, that needs to be correct as well. And if I made an agenda item request and doesn't say so here, just says some request, and that's how we make our agenda item requests and our board member comment. It needs to be recorded accurately that those requests, agenda item requests, were made, and there's no approved. Generic approved literature list is very different from a specific secondary list. What does it say? Yeah. So secondary core literature list for grades 7 to 12, and those are the corrections I wanted to make. Of course, it's not word by word, but accuracy matters.
Can I just add one thing? When I got elected in this board, I remember 4 years straight, we would spend like 15 minutes on the minutes, and it was all corrections of what we said at the meetings, and it was really too much. And so I don't have a problem if that's why I was asking for clarification. If the minutes of a board member, that the meaning was incorrect, I don't have a problem asking for them to be changed to the correct meaning. That's what it should be for. And I think that's what Maya is trying to do here. So with that said, I call the question.
Just to add a quick comment, we wanted to get out of the subjectiveness, and that for those reasons, we have the exact transcript linked with a timestamp. Staff would recommend board just get some clarification so that we can move on. This is the 4th month now that our public has not had access to minutes because they haven't been approved for us to post since May 8th. So we're really delaying public access, so that's the interest for staff to
So what is your question?
get board for, to come up with a resolution for us as we go forward. So the,
Okay, well, can we go ahead and
yeah.
vote since Roger asked for it to be called?
Yep.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Motion was made by Mr. Doan. Second was made by Ms. Phillips. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I am opposed. So,
As for moving forward, I think my comments were very clear prior to the vote that these are not transcripts. I will not support a version of these that become transcripts, and while I am just one vote, I'm one of 5. My board colleagues may join me if we get into this bit about meeting minutes being transcripts. I don't want to see a bunch of staff time, and I don't want to put my own time into having to listen to recordings and verify accuracy of quotes. And that's what it does. As you know, you all see me, I have my laptop going, but I'm also taking notes on my agenda summaries, and I keep these. And then when I go back to see if the meeting minutes accurately reflect what happened, I'm looking at actions taken. Who made a motion? Who did a second? What was the outcome? I'm not intending to go back and listen to recordings before approving meeting minutes.
So Steph's going to need more clarification on this motion that passed, because it sounds like we're going to have word for word now, or I hear that we want a summary. Those both are in conflict with our
In
work,
this
so we
case,
need some clarification.
We have approved Maya's quotations to be inserted into the meeting minutes to reflect what she said.
Pardon me, I never meant any quotes. There are no quotes, just changing of some definitions. Federal funding versus simple funding, or if it says I raised issue of ethnic studies not being graduation requirement, which is not the issue I raised a different issue. So those are not quotes that I'm asking to make changes.
So it's this page.
Yeah.
For staff, this
This is
is
a
the
summary.
page that we just approved
This is a summary, yeah.
as the correction.
With only the corrections are underlined.
Yes.
Just a couple of corrections, yeah.
So for clarification, we will add this to May 8th, and we'll move on business as usual that we've added and made changes here from here on. Is that correct?
So with my corrections, that's what we just accepted, yeah?
You did not provide a copy of this for me, so I don't have that. I'm not sure what
Well,
you're
I
talking
emailed
about.
you the copy,
I'll
Okay,
let you
is
have
this
it.
for the
It's fine.
past 3 meetings or the,
Just two.
just 2. I
Two
emailed,
meetings?
I emailed to everyone, including you, yes.
okay.
fine.
So
so,
we'll
my
put
copy.
those in, but going forward, we're going to keep with business as usual that we've been doing. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Mr.
No
President?
need for transcripts, no need for quotes, and really no need for minutes stated on a recording, actual time stamping, not necessary as part of our meeting minutes from our board meetings.
I support that. Dan?
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, thank you.
Still going to need some clarification, because that's where we that started.
I have a comment
Sorry,
on
thank
on
you.
the whole picture here. And I'm old, and I get away with saying whatever I want to say. So this is my comment on this. Maya and I have always sat at the end of the rows, a good distance apart. Maya is a passionate woman who wants very much to have her opinions understood as she expresses them. But I have to tell you that you don't speak into the microphone, and you speak so quickly that I have difficulty understanding what you are saying. I'm just telling you the truth. And this whole issue may not have been an issue if your method of communicating would slow down and speak into the microphone.
Noted, Dan. I will speak up now on, loud and clear, so everybody can hear.
There you
Oh,
go. See, I'm hearing Maya, I'm hearing every word that you're saying right now. Okay?
Wonderful.
We're ready. Let's
Okay,
And
so, I know.
Okay, thanks.
So, what I'm hearing from the board, and this is direction, not action, what I'm hearing from the board, and please feel free to correct me, is that this, we will enter into the record, the minutes. Are there any questions about what gets entered into the minutes? Because Roger made the motion, and we will have him explain it.
Yeah, I heard that it was just the underlined pieces. Is that correct?
So my motion was to accept these two on this. Was that a fly? Okay.
Keep going, brother.
I like you're hitting me. To make these corrections in the minutes of the first page of this stapled document. It's only the first page, because beyond that is the transcript, which we do not put in the minutes.
So are we asking for everything in quotes or just the underlined pieces? I've heard both tonight.
It's everything that is underlined that's being adjusted. So that's it.
So the direction is to add these underlined words to the minutes for May 8th and June 9th.
Right, to
Thank you.
provide clarity of the meaning of what Maya was talking about, because
Okay.
it didn't have the right meaning.
So you mean
Thank you.
to add those corrections to the meeting minutes?
These are the corrections.
It was
that-
his motion. Please let him explain it.
Yeah, so it's the underlined ones that were added to make sure that the meaning was correct. Because the meaning, what she meant was not in the minutes. That's it.
Okay? Dr. Thurman, are you comfortable with
That
that?
is very clear. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And moving forward, I want to make sure there wasn't a motion or an agreement on how it will be going forward from here.
Well, I think there was a little bit of direction,
There
at
was.
least, I think five of us,
I didn't hear action.
yes, five of us board members said we don't really need a transcript link. It's not necessary. And if a board member requests it, you can send it directly to that board member.
Would you like this to be an action of some sort?
We'd have to bring it back if it
Yes.
would.
Yeah.
Um,
We can take direction if we're okay with the summary. That's what we
Right.
did, and that's what landed us here. So that's what I'm concerned about.
But I want to just make it clear, like, if I read the minutes and it doesn't have the same meaning of, and then I'm going to request, can I listen to the transcript? And I'll, just to clarify, and I'm like, I would request a change of a word here and there to make sure the meaning is right. I mean, but I don't have to do that.
That's why
very
we
often.
approve meeting minutes. So,
Yeah.
Brian, I think that there need not be an action because we are continuing on business as usual. We are not asking staff to do anything new with our meeting minutes moving forward. Do what we've been doing, which is summarize the meeting minutes and recording actions, summarizing what happened in the meeting and recording actions taken by the board. Not audio recordings, not transcripts, but actual meeting minutes that just memorialize actions taken with the summaries as have been provided.
So that is more than minutes call for. Minutes are for
I'm asking,
actions taken.
I'm asking for exactly what's been done for the past countless months to continue being done. Nothing more, nothing less.
Are we comfortable with that?
That involves a
Just to-
timestamp and a link
No,
to the...
no
Just to clarify,
timestamp.
That's
No,
what's been done
prior
the
to
last
that.
several months.
minus the link.
The past few
Prior to that.
months.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, just to be crystal clear, we will provide a summary, as we've done for a long time.
Yes.
Okay.
Actions
The concern is that's
taken
what
by the board should be
what-
clear.
brought us here. Okay. Thank you
Right,
very
we're
much. Yep, we're good.
Is-
Thank you.
is- Are we good as a board on this,
So
with the
wait.
direction we're going?
Yes.
Still, if board member wants summary to reflect something more accurately, or if it's not was quite accurate, to replace one word with another that was actually said,
No.
make corrections.
Probably won't get my support that way. As long as the intent is generally given and the action taken by the board is very clear, I'm probably not going to entertain any changes. I'm just one person.
Well, I agree, and I can't say this strongly enough. That's not the purpose of minutes. The purpose of minutes is to record action taken by the body, not comments made. Not comments made. Action taken by the body. It's nice that sometimes we, get a nice little summary, but that is not the purpose of minutes. So,
are you suggesting that we don't even have
I'm not
summary of our
I'm not
statements?
gonna support spending, having staff dive into these kinds of projects because somebody doesn't feel as though they were understood. If they want to be understood and the community has a question, we can provide transcripts and we can provide copies of recordings for the public. But the public record needs to be, and they're recorded for that very reason.
Right.
But the public record needs to be, legally, the minutes are for actions taken.
Right.
So I agree with Don. I won't support it in the future if somebody, wants it pulled and has
a
a
word tweaked here and there because we meant something.
should to shall or something
Yeah,
like that.
no.
Well, usually if there's a problem with the minutes, it's the date is wrong, or I voted on that, but I'm not included, or I made the motion. It's usually something like that. But
Yeah.
That's fair.
And true, to be fair also, this really hasn't been about the minutes, it's been about one section, and that is board member comments. So I will be reviewing the transcript with these direct phrases. If they're not represented in the comments, I would not be comfortable adding those into this, and I'll bring that up at the next board meeting. That's what happened the first time. There were some quotes sent to us that were not communicated in the minutes as we listened to the verbatim words that were spoken. So we would not add those because that is not an accurate reflection of what the minutes actually, of what the
Well-
voice that was spoke, those words said. So I will review them and make sure, and if they are, then we'll put them in, of course, no question. That's not an issue at all.
I did listen to
From
the
here
video
moving
recording.
forward, my understanding
Yeah.
is we're just going to do a summary. We're not going to take quotes to add that won't necessarily represent what was said.
I did listen to the video recording, and those corrections I made, those things were said.
Okay,
checked.
Dr. Thurman, if you, we can discuss bringing board comments back as a topic for a future conversation. How's that?
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, that works. Everybody comfortable moving forward? All right. Next item on the agenda is item D1. First item on D1 is actually, is a report from the California School Employees Association, Chapter 733.
So Jeremiah Majo for Ramona CSEA 733. At the June chapter meeting, President Danielle Brashears resigned her office, and the role of president has fallen to me as first vice president. I don't have a lot to report because it came as a bit of a surprise to me, and I'm still getting up to speed on everything going on.
Oh, you are not
That's kind
immune.
of funny right there.
Somewhat ironic.
All right. I did want to mention, because I don't think it came up previously, at the end of the last school year, Chapter 733 made a large number of cash donations to classified employees, all of those that had retired, all of those who were named Employee of the Year at their respective sites. And in addition to those, there were 9 graduating seniors who were children, grandchildren of classified employees. And the chapter made $300 scholarships to each of those, 7 from RHS, 1 from Mountain Valley, and 1 from Montecito. That's really all I have to report at the moment. Like I said, I'm still getting up to speed. I'm going to go back over there now.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you for the report. Welcome to the jungle. And we look forward to working with you.
All right. Is it?
Next item on the agenda is item D2, which is a report from the Ramona Teachers Association.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I didn't bother teachers to ask them everything that's happening because I think they're a little busy right now. So I do want to welcome back teachers and staff for a new school year. The PAC over at OPMS was a packed house yesterday with new and veteran staff all ready to kick off the new year. As we're looking the big thing to start the year is obviously class sizes. TK numbers are higher than ever with the changes to the age requirements. So elementary schools are adding classrooms and staff to support our many new students. Registrations at each site are complete, and we want to say a huge thank you to all staff who helped make this a smooth process for our parents and our students. Unfortunately, not all families go through the process in a timely manner, so numbers are still fluctuating. So RTA is working with the district leadership, pretty much constantly monitoring class sizes, and are trying to work together to have the best placements and staffing before the start of the school year. With that, as enrollments adjust daily, many teachers have had to pivot and change grade levels or even school sites. So we want to say a huge thank you to the 3 teachers who had to change school sites and grade levels yesterday as the district restructured staffing and adjusted based on enrollment. The flexibility of our teachers is a huge asset to our district. We're looking forward to a fantastic school year, and we're hopeful we can work together in a positive and productive way in order to do right by students and staff this year in RUSD. On a side note and a personal note, I would like to say thank you, if you haven't already, for approving Teresa Grace, because she's amazing, for coming back and helping us out at Ramona High School, just as she did last year with Burnett. And a side note too, RTA also does support RHS's proposed potential current adjusting the board policy for off-campus. And so you'll see that a little later, and it has been talked with staff and all of that, and very much supported by teachers on our campus.
Thank you for those words. Thank you for weighing in. I think that's important. We don't have student board members here. We would reach out to them and see what their input was. I know I have spoken to quite a few students, and of course, they're in favor of it. Well, they all think they all have a 3.0 right now. But thank you very much, and thank you very much for your kind words about Teresa Grace. I'll speak for myself. I could not be more happy, and she just keeps giving, and we keep taking.
And thank you for being here. I'm sure you're just as busy as every other teacher, so thank you.
Thanks very much. Next item on the agenda is item E1, which is a request to address the board. Mr. Doan, do we have any cards? None. All right, we will move right on. Next item on the agenda is item F2, which is a report on 2025-2026 back-to-school nights.
Good evening, board. I feel like I just did all of our open house nights, and now we're back in August, and we're talking about back-to-school nights, where we get to welcome our families, and they come on campus and get to meet their teachers and hear about all of the learning that is going to be happening this year. This is an information item that outlines each of the schools' back-to-school night dates. Some schools have multiple sessions with PTA meetings, and just encourage the board, if you would like to attend back-to-school nights, to work that through the superintendent's office.
Thank you very much. I would like to make a request, if it's not too much work for staff. I would truly like to have the opportunity, when we go to back-to-school nights, to visit all of our new teachers. So if we could get a list of which school has new teachers and which room they're going to be in, so we can go and welcome them to the district and thank them for picking Ramona. And I would encourage the rest of the board to try to hit one or two schools. Hit them. We can't hit them all. I think that Thursday night is just brutal. We might be able to hit two. But please do your best to try to hit those new teachers and thank them. And then, you know what, I'd also like to know, who did we move this year? Yesterday. and be able to go by there and say thank you for being so accommodating. There's a lot of moving parts to this thing we call school. And thanks for their understanding. So I would encourage the board, if we get that information, just to go by and do that also.
Sounds like that information's not ready yet.
It might not be ready for a little while.
When school starts, I'm sure it will.
Yeah, we might still be moving people.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Thank you.
But
Yes.
man, it's not what they showed up yesterday morning wanting to do. I promise you that. They are all teachers. They've been in those shoes. But thank you very much for your kind words. And then, any questions on back to school nights? All right, next item on the agenda is item F3, which is the first reading of recommended changes to board policies 5112.5, open and/or closed campus.
Good evening, board. Tonight, Ed Services brings forward 3 board policies. The first one happens to be about the open and closed campus of Ramona High School. I also would love to welcome Mr. Giammi up to the front table so he can answer any questions should the board have questions. The big shift in the board policy tonight would be to not only extend off-campus privileges to seniors who meet the eligibility, but also to juniors to incentivize the experience on the Ramona High School campus for the juniors as well. This is a first reading, though I can tell you that Mr. Giammi would love it if we would approve this so we could get this going at the beginning of this school year.
All right, let's open this conversation. Any questions for staff on this?
So do we want to hear from Mike, or do we just want to talk amongst ourselves?
Do you want to hear from Mike? If you do, we'll let him present.
Yeah, do you want to tell us?
Dive in here.
Tell us what we need to know. What's the plan?
What made you think that, or what makes you think this is a good idea?
First of all, like when you come to a new space, you try to learn and seek to understand what the policies are and the why behind it. When I was going through and asking a lot of questions of the staff, we found out that we're not doing as good of a job as we want to with the students that are doing what they're supposed to do, and they're earning their opportunities, and we're still not providing them that adult-like feel if they're taking care of their business, being respectful, being on time, having a good GPA. If we really want to graduate future-focused and college-ready people, we need to provide them opportunities to do that. On the other hand, the board policy, as I understand it, is allowing all seniors to leave campus whether or not they meet certain criteria. And at that point in time, that's not really what life is all about. So what we want to do is work with our students and provide opportunities outside the classroom to really live our culture and to make sure that we're holding them accountable in a way that is respectful.
So I do have a question.
Sure.
I'm looking at the board policy, which is not on our screen for our audience at this time, but might be helpful if it could be. The policy itself is quite brief, and it appears that we are just including juniors in addition to the seniors that were already granted off-campus privileges for lunch. But it mentions criteria. It doesn't outline the criteria here in the board policy. So could you just tell us what that is?
I provided the board with some criteria.
Yep.
For a read. It had a GPA criteria of a 3.0.
3.0.
As well as meeting an attendance and tardy policy. Not being absent, unexcused absence, of course, and not being tardy to class. So, being present is one of the first things to being a successful human being. So that's also an attachment. So if they do leave campus and they're late coming back, there's a natural consequence to that. If they don't meet that requirement, we'd be happy to peel off their sticker on their ID cards and meet with them and have them understand how life is. And you don't always get what you want. You have to also meet those expectations. And so when we're building a culture like that for our students, we want to make sure that the rules are in place to provide opportunities as well as remediation if they need it.
So students can go off campus for lunch if they're a junior or senior, minimum GPA of 3.0, good citizenship, and very few tardies, along with parent permission.
Correct.
And just to clarify, those eligibility requirements will be updated in the AR. So our current eligibility requirements are in the AR, and once the board policy is approved to include the juniors, then we will update the eligibility requirements on the AR, and that will come back to the board in a board update with the finalized board policy as well.
Great, I'd like to move approval.
I have another question.
It's fine. Do we have a second?
Okay.
And then we can converse.
I'll second it.
All right,
Okay.
your question?
Yes. The cover page states that parent permission is required to extend off-campus lunch privileges to eligible 11th graders. However, this requirement is missing from the text of the policy itself. It only says at the end of the policy that students shall not leave the school grounds at any time during school day without express written permission of their parents or guardians. And this provision refers to something other than lunch, just any other time. So why does this policy omit express written permission of their parent guardians in relation to lunch, contrary to what the agenda item states on the cover page?
The first item under eligibility says have written authorization of their parents, guardians, and permission of school authorities. So the policy references that they have to meet the eligibility requirements, and the very first piece of eligibility has to be parent permission.
So, don't we have parent permission in other policies, or we never? It's always in ERs, parental permissions. Why can't we just put in the board policy to give it strong, to make it stronger?
Is that a suggested change to this policy?
Okay. Yeah.
Pardon me, is that a
Yes.
suggested
Yes,
change to
it's
this? Okay.
suggestion. Let's say I'm trying to phrase it better. Parent permission is required to extend off-campus lunch privileges to eligible 11th graders. Something like this.
Okay.
Could I make a suggestion?
Yes.
In the previous board policy, towards the very bottom, where it says students shall not leave the school grounds at any other time during the school day, could we just say at any time during the school day without express written permission, and then that covers lunch and any other time as well?
I would accept that change to my motion.
Okay.
Does the second
Okay.
concur?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's right. You're right, Leslie. Because we have a parental permission for something else in the same policy that's following the same logic. Any parental permission for anything should be included in a policy.
Thank you for that addition very much.
Okay.
Any other conversation? Dan?
Yeah.
Sorry, I saw your hand up, but I'm like, wait a minute.
I have a practical question. When I was in high school, seniors were allowed to leave campus, and we did, and there was hardly any trouble at all.
Hardly any trouble. That just hit me.
Well, I'm not going to go into details, but here's on the practical side. How long is the lunch period at Ramona High School?
40 minutes.
40 minutes. And Olive Pierce?
45.
45, 40 and 45. Unfortunately, Olive Pierce and Ramona High School are not located in the middle of fast food restaurants.
Oh, it's
And
super
if you-
close.
I'm sorry?
It's super close.
Yes.
My
It's-
house is right
it's-
between.
5 minutes away.
Okay.
I will see them.
It's 5 or 10 minutes away, both ways, and then you have lunch, and then you've got all these kids showing up at the fast food restaurants. I'm trying to be practical here. They get out of lunch, and how many kids show up at the fast food restaurants? How long is it going to take them to get there, find a parking place, order food in possibly large lines, eat the food, get back in the car and get back in class at the same within a reason? I think that's a practical issue, you guys.
Dan,
I like the idea.
I'm totally in agreement, but I think the point of this is to reward them, and I think reality will sink in later. But at least they feel like they're rewarded, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already been this way for seniors.
And-
This is
and-
adding juniors.
Well,
Okay.
and also, if I may, a lot of the kids will, once they get to their car, place their order on their phone.
Oh.
And then
Yep.
just
Yeah.
drive there to pick it up.
Exactly.
And
Dan
then,
doesn't do that.
Not waiting in line.
Sir, I know you mentioned that.
Wait a minute, wait, you can do that? You can do that on your phone?
Yes,
All right.
and then your bag is waiting inside the restaurant
I
on
see.
the shelf.
I see.
Just grab it.
I'm giving him a
I
hard time.
like.
I don't do it either.
Let me,
gosh.
let me clarify. I like the idea of rewarding students with the grade point average and with all those things. I like that. Yeah, it's an incentive. It's a good idea.
Just
But
wait till we
practically
get to the
speaking,
AI conversation.
I'm wondering how much tardiness is going to be generated.
Not much, because they better be on time.
So,
or they lose
so
the
that
privilege.
is the key component, as
Yeah.
you can see. We don't want any, it's more than 7 total tardies or unexcused absences
In a semester.
in a semester.
Of
16
85 days or so.
21 weeks, depending on which semester you're talking about.
I'm just trying to instill some practicality here, and I don't think I'm out of line at all.
No,
40 minutes is not a lot of time to, Get your
Anecdotally, I
car-
will tell you that I do live very close to the high school, and when my kids were able, they would pop home, and I knew they were coming and food was ready. So.
Okay, so
that,
everybody
you know,
goes
it would
to
be
her
like
house.
A whole crew. Yes, not just mine, but others as well. Yes, a whole crew would converge, and the food would be devoured quickly.
and what I would say also is giving them an opportunity to go home. It seems a little bit more adult-like, college-like, trying to give them an incentive to manage their time. And at this point in time, we don't have anything in place to do that, to provide them that opportunity of growth.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think during lunch, go to one of the fast food places and the kids will show you how to order online. You'll be good.
And I think our Chamber of Commerce is remiss in not being here to advocate for this board policy, because this is increased business.
Just remember as we move forward that Dan brought up this practical problem,
Yes,
and
sir.
we'll see where it goes.
Well,
Mike,
I'm
what
gonna,
time is lunch?
It depends on the day. About around 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, don't go at 1.
I'm going to make a request, and don't take this personally.
No.
But if this is a failure, come back and tell us.
All right.
And I don't think it's a reflection upon staff if this doesn't work out. But I think I would admire staff to come in and say, hey, we tried it, bad idea, but we're not going to know until we try it. So,
I'm
and
here to just advocate for students and provide them the opportunity of growth.
And-
That's,
and-
I
Us
feel
too.
that as my
this
role.
is one of the benefits of new staff, new ideas, new thought processes, thinking, okay, why do we do it this way? Because maybe, just maybe, there's a better way. We won't know until we try. So I'll support it. Any other comments or
Yeah.
questions for staff?
Couple of clarifications. So I took the word, Leslie, the word other out, so the phrase, students, students shall not leave the school grounds at any time during school day without express written permission of their parents / guardians, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Also, and I understand that the criteria will be in the administrative regulation, and it says students must have a minimum of 3.0 GPA. It seems a little low. Can we have it 3.5 GPA to make it real reward?
Well,
It's not
so-
even all A's.
yeah, so what I would say is this. Currently, there is no GPA requirement for seniors to leave campus. So any senior, whether they had a below 2.0, 1.0, whatever, they can leave campus at any point in time based on how the policy is currently written.
I think our policy, so this requirement will be applied to only juniors that we're talking about.
It should be applied to juniors and seniors
Okay.
and seniors
Okay.
meeting that 3.0, which is
Okay.
a minimum GPA of a 2.0 is
Okay.
for athletic eligibility. So it is actually a point
stringent.
higher
Yep.
for that.
So let me
So-
ask this question. Don, you made the motion.
Yes.
Are you willing to amend your motion to
No.
increase the GPA? Okay, because we have a motion and a second. So if that motion fails, you're welcome to enter or submit another motion.
Wait, I didn't make a motion. I just asked, can we raise it because it's administrative regulation. It's not in the policy, the requirements.
Okay, that's up
understand.
to staff then.
Okay, 3.5, okay. To make them, to make it real achievement, to make it earn.
Yeah.
No, I think he's already said he wants to keep it at a 3.0 because you're
Yeah.
going from a
Three-
0 to a
3.0 is
3.0,
good.
and that's an AR.
Can we call it, and then we can talk, offline about, with the superintendent or, what
All
we
right,
think about.
we
how
have a
to-
request to call the question. All those in favor of the motion? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thanks for coming, Mike. We appreciate you. We appreciate you bringing these ideas and asking these questions. You're not always going to get a yes, but
That's okay.
you did tonight.
I'm here to advocate for our students.
Take your-
right?
well,
And no is a
as
no,
are
a
we.
yes or a yes.
As are we,
you know?
but we think of different criteria when making decisions than you do. So,
100%.
thanks for coming.
Thank you guys,
Thanks,
appreciate
Mike.
the time.
So is there further conversation on this, or?
No, I think it's great, and I actually like the stipulation about the GPA for seniors that has
Right.
not been in place before. It's incentive to keep their grades up and be responsible.
Wonderful. We will move on to the next agenda item, which is item H4, which is the first reading of recommended changes to board policy 6173, education for student experiences and homelessness.
Yes, thank you, Governing Board. That was a great introduction. I don't have to reread that very long title for this board policy. The last time the policy was updated was March 22. It's being brought back because there's been change in the language to the law.
Right.
In most cases, not all, but in most cases, it's just a change from calling students homeless students to students experiencing homelessness. And so you'll see the difference throughout the policy where you will have it has read previously homeless students, and that will be crossed out to students experiencing homelessness. There is a couple of additional education codes and other laws intertwined, but the bulk of the policy itself, the meaning of the policy has stayed the same. It's all just updates to ed code language.
All right,
This is a first reading of Education for Students Experiencing Homelessness, Policy 6173.
Mr. Dome, you're up.
Yeah, I'm actually going to make a motion to approve this with these changes because that's essentially all it is instead of calling students homeless, we're saying they're experiencing it. That's really the change.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any conversation or questions for staff?
Yeah, I was wondering about trying to get help with to understand this issue better, this policy. Not necessarily I'm objecting to changes, just I was thinking about it, and maybe you could help me understand it. So maybe, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just trying to get clarity. So I understand that every school district employee is a mandated reporter to Child Protective Services. And here's a quote from the California CPS website. California law defines child abuse as any of the following. A child is neglected by a parent or caretaker who fails to provide adequate food, clothing, shelter, medical care, or supervision. So as I understand, if failure to provide shelter is reported, then CPS steps in and the child is no longer homeless. From my training, and I remember that suspecting child abuse is enough to report. So we're not the investigators. Our job is to report to CPS and or law enforcement immediately, and they will take it from there. So according to penal code, any mandated reporter who fails to report known or suspected child abuse or neglect is guilty of a misdemeanor punishable by up to 6 months in jail or fine of $1,000. Any supervisor or administrator who impedes others from making a report shall be punished also up to 6 months.
I'm sorry, is there anything in
Yeah.
this board policy related to board member mandatory reporting status?
So I
Okay.
have to ask, let me finish please if I may. So I have to ask, why are we even debating this policy? How would we even have homeless students in our district? Does it mean the district employees will just watch and allow children to be homeless and abdicate their legal obligation as mandated reporters?
We do have homeless children within our district. The definitions of homelessness are actually very broad. It's if you don't have a permanent residence. So For example, you could have two families sharing one residence, and one of the families in that home can be considered homeless, even if they have a roof over their head. So there are lots of instances where we actually do have homeless children in our district that are not CPS mandated reporting situations.
Thank you.
Okay, so are there any other questions for staff? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving right along. Next item on the agenda is item F5, which is the first reading of CSBA recommended Board Policy 0441, which is artificial intelligence.
Good evening, Board. This is the last board policy tonight, and actually, just in full transparency, we do anticipate bringing this board policy back again to the board. We're hoping it does get approved tonight, but we also want to do our due diligence and have a committee of teachers and parents involved in developing what our board policy should look like. But in order for us to be covered as we start the beginning of this school year with AI at the forefront of everything, we felt it very prudent for us to take the CSBA policy first and bring it forward as our initial policy, so the district is covered with the language that CSBA recommends. And we've already been working with our coordinator of technology and curriculum, who's been doing a lot of research in this. And also, we will have some sort of a task force or committee to help develop what AI is going to look like in Ramona Unified, and get feedback from all of our partners. So just sharing with you, we are bringing this forward, but we are doing it as a protection to the district, and as we move forward with using AI in the district, staff use it, students use it, it's out there, and so that provides that to us. And then we will be doing this justice by having some sort of task force developed throughout this school year. This is a first reading of this board policy 0441, artificial intelligence. There was not a previous policy, and it is verbatim from CSBA.
All right, any discussion? Dan, you ready for something?
I think CSBA has put in a great deal of time and effort to write this policy, and for us to adopt it initially, relying on their efforts, I think it's wise, and I think if we want to make changes down the road, we're certainly free to do so.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Second.
All right. Bless you.
Also, we received this public comment in writing, a written comment that I didn't get a chance to read yet. But when I just looked through that, it seems like whoever made the comment, the gentleman said that CSBA policy is few steps behind and quite outdated, and I need to take a closer look at what his comment actually says, and maybe we need to ask or look deeper into what needs to go into this policy. Maybe we're not ready to discuss it today, or
So we have a motion and a second. If you choose to vote against it, that's your prerogative.
what are we? What's the motion?
I would have helped to approve this policy as presented tonight. The reason that I supported Dan's motion in this is Leslie's recognition that we will need to do something more moving forward, but the school year starts on Monday. AI is a reality. Could we do better? Probably. I hope that you will see the comment that we've received on this agenda item. We'll make sure that you get that. And include some industry professionals in helping guide where we go next. But this is a good starting off point.
And that is
right?
exactly that's exactly why we're
Yeah.
bringing it forward.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
That's the first reading, right? We're doing now.
It's a
Dan
first
moved
reading,
approval, and
What?
I seconded.
but it's for discussion, possible action. We are potentially taking action with a motion and a second already.
Okay.
Expecting it to be back for revision soon.
Roger, you're
I
up.
do have one change. In 2, where it says staff-centered, basically what that's saying is that it is essential to have staff, because AI essentially requires that. You can't do AI without staff.
Correct.
But where it says rather than replace, that's an opinion. That's not anything that should be in there. That's obvious. I think we should take it out because I think it states opinion in a policy, and I have a problem with opinions in policies. It's my-
All right, Dan made the motion. Dan, do you want to leave your motion intact, or are you willing to amend it based on Roger's recommendation?
I will amend it based on Roger's recommendation.
Roger, will you clear it for the, will you clarify it for staff?
Yeah, we're just taking out rather than replace, and it will say AI should be used as a tool to augment and support staff in the performance of their duties and responsibilities. Now it's crystal clear, and it's saying that that is essential to have that happen. When
Does-
you add in that rather than replace, which we want to take out, that makes it seem like it's questionable. And I don't want to have any question. I want to make this policy say that we need staff, period.
So the original maker of the motion
kinda makes
will
sense.
support that,
I
absolutely.
agree to the change.
And she agrees to the change. So we now have an amended motion. Are there any other comments or questions for staff before we vote? All right. All those in favor? Aye. All right, motion carries unanimously.
And we'll probably change it again.
And
I believe this is probably one that's going to come back regularly, just
Yeah.
because as fast as AI is changing, it's, it's, in fact, CSBA made the recommendation that we no longer have a district technology plan because the district technology plans cannot keep up with the technology any longer. And so, yeah, it's really interesting. So we are just going to keep doing it within board policy in that way, because by the time you write it and get it all the way built out, it's changed. So it's fast paced.
Yeah, and by the time that committee finishes something, it will be ready to be revised.
Exactly.
That's just the way it is. Welcome
you.
to 2025. Thank you for the presentation. Next item on the agenda is item G4, which is the approval of Uniform Complaint Quarterly Report, the Williams case complaints.
Members of the board, you're being asked to accept the report that shows that there were 0 Williams case complaints from April 1st through June 30th, so that the district can report this to the County Office of Education.
I'll move approval.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions for staff? All those in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the variable term waiver extension request, career technical education for our automotive teacher.
As you know, when teachers are trying to become credentialed, there's certain requirements. In this particular case, the CTE teacher, the automotive teacher, was not able to complete the requirements. We had a waiver, an initial waiver this last year for him, in order to continue employment and give him an opportunity to complete what is needed, which in his respect is to teach English learners. The certification to do that, we're asking for the subsequent approval to continue and have an extension on his waiver.
I move approval.
Motion and a second. Any questions for staff or comments?
Is there a limit to how many times we can
This is
extend?
it. You can only have an extension for an
And he
additional
knows
year.
that.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, anything else for staff? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is approval of variable term waiver request for speech language pathologist.
Very similar. As you know, it's been very difficult to hire speech-language pathologists. We were able to hire these 2 additional speech-language pathologists that are listed here. However, they've not completed all of the credentialing requirements. However, they're enrolled in the courses to finish that. So we're asking for a waiver to get them approved now while they complete those requirements.
I move approval.
Got a
I'll
motion?
second.
There's a second. Any questions for staff or comments?
So is it something else? Speech language pathologist. We also had before school psychologist, or not anymore?
I don't understand the question, but this is specifically for these 2 waivers. Do you have a question about these 2 waivers?
No.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for staff? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item number G7, approval of short-term staff permits.
Under that same umbrella, the common theme here, we have a couple of teachers that need to complete final requirements to clear their credential in California. To do that, 2 teachers we need to place on a short-term staff permit, and 2 other teachers we need to apply for provisional internship permits, which will allow them to continue to complete the requirements while being employed by the school district.
I move approval.
Second.
Any questions or comments for staff?
Yes, what is mild dash moderate? That is referring to child's behavior, to disability level, or what is,
I'll defer to Dr. Thurman. I believe he responded earlier to your question.
what is mild?
Yeah, it's a detail of the services needed to address any of their concerns. It's the description of what those services
Service?
would be. The description of the type of services needed, yes.
Any other questions or comments for staff? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I think it carries unanimously. Maya, I
It
just
does.
didn't hear you. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is item G8, which is the approval of revision to the RUSD instructional calendar for school year 25-26.
Members of the board, as part of the calendar negotiations, committee comes together and reviews the information and regarding the calendar committee that provides, we receive survey information. Last year, we had set for this current year that's about to start, minimum days and the grading periods, but we received feedback. Mrs. McDonald received quite a bit of feedback and from teachers who requested that we alter the dates and make them more balanced, and in turn that also changes the minimum days. We received feedback from our parents who said that the minimum dates that we had identified confused them, so now these minimum dates come at the end of these grading periods. So this is based upon feedback from teachers and parents. We're making these changes to this current school year that's about to start. And we're recommending that you approve those changes.
I just have a question. Just to clarify, the trimesters, that's with OPMS only, or
For these particular dates, we just adjusted the TK.
just
Dates.
TK? Okay.
All right, any other questions for staff?
However, having said that, Roger, I mean, those dates are the same as the middle school.
Okay, that's basically what I was asking.
Yeah.
Thanks. I move approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item.
I do have a question about this. As we're talking about calendars and for this school year that we're entering into, and I see the next one is district calendar for 26-27. In our district, we used to have elementary schools with compact days. I would like to see us explore that again. With the increased pressure that we have on staff for a whole myriad of tasks, it might be beneficial for our staff to have those compact days in order to attend to some of those tasks with students not present. So I realize that's not the direct item here.
Are you proposing to bring that back as an agenda item for discussion?
If our superintendent thinks that it's
Okay.
a good thing to explore, I would like to see it explored. I'm not the expert in this, but it
Okay.
seems that it would be beneficial. Brian, what's the way to proceed?
Yeah, there's a lot of issues around that from what I hear on us coming out of that, but staff can discuss that and bring more information. We can start with information in a board update and go from there. That sounds
Okay,
good?
thank you. Is that all right with you guys?
Yeah,
And
that's
we
fine.
may see it back here.
I think it's a
hope we
great way
see
to
it
look
back
into
here.
it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, moving on. Next item on the agenda is item G10. This is the memorandum of understanding between RUSD and RTA.
Did we get 9 done? I miss it
Did we do the
somehow?
26-27 calendar? Well, thank you very much.
Yep, for sure.
Let's go back to item G9.
Did the revision.
This is the approval of district calendar for school year 2026-2027.
As stated, this is a result of negotiations with RTA and CSEA after gathering input. This is the proposed calendar for 26-27, asking for approval.
Any questions or comments for staff?
I have a question. Oh, wait. Okay, never mind. I just see it's, spring break is a lot earlier. It's going to be at the end of March through April. Okay, I guess it is.
And it does that sometimes.
Yeah, I'm looking at it sideways, so.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions for staff?
No.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All right, now we'll go to item G10. This is the approval of the memorandum of understanding between RUSD and RTA for additional workdays for counselors serving OPMS and the high school.
For the past few years, we've had an MOU with RTA that allowed counselors at the middle school and Ramona High School to come in early and be compensated for their time in preparation for master schedule, registration, all the things that are needed to prepare for the opening of school. The funds that were allocated for that in the past 3 years, the MOU sunset at the end of this last school year, but in calculating the funds and seeing what was left over, we realized there was enough funds to continue to pay counselors for one more additional year. So we contacted RTA, and together we worked over the summer on this MOU, which would allow us to use the funds for this particular purpose that were already designated, but they weren't all spent, to spend it again for this current school year.
Any questions for staff?
So how many days more do they work? It's 5 days or 7 days? 7, yeah?
In the MOU, OPMS counselors work 7 days, and RHS counselors may work up to 10 days.
And it's, so why do they need to work more?
Because of the needs to prepare for school, the master schedule, student schedules. As you know, teachers and staff did not return to school till Wednesday. Staff did not return to school until Wednesday, and then registration happened. And so there's just a lot of needs in preparing that you can't prepare in June to open up school in mid-August. So in the past, we've always had counselors work prior to their start time, and they've traded out days. They've been able to come in early and then take off a day during the school year. Over the past couple of years, we've been able to pay so that we're not trading out days, so we have counselors on campus during the school year. We can do that for one more year, but it's to complete all of these assignments here: master schedule, course credit checks, review transcripts, meet with families, 4-year plans, overrides, all of those purposes.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just a little confused. The first paragraph makes sense, and then the second one, it talks about how they have these flex days throughout the school year.
Yeah.
So if they're coming approximately a week or 2 weeks before school to prepare for it, then are they using all the time and they don't have to flex anything?
So according to the MOU, we're paying for 5 days, and then if they work beyond the 5, so 6 to 10, those days are being flexed. We don't have enough money to pay the full 10 days.
Okay,
So it's kind of a hybrid.
that's how it works, okay. Yeah, I move approval.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. You guys want to rock, scissors, paper? Maya, it's all yours. So
Thank
motion was made by Roger, seconded by Maya. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Moving right along. Next item on the agenda is item G11. This is the memorandum of understanding between RUSD and RTA for the pilot of RUSD certificated evaluation process and forms.
As part of the process of evaluating teachers, there are evaluation forms that we use to evaluate the performance, and teachers wouldn't be the only ones, but all certificated employees. And a collaborative project started with RTA 5 years ago, pre-COVID, we started down this path of revising our evaluation procedures. We refer to it as E3. And then COVID stopped the progress that we were making. We made a considerable amount of progress of rewriting, revising, but then that put a stop to it. A year ago, we got together with RTA and decided to revisit and resurrect this process. And so we've been meeting collaboratively with RTA representatives over the course of the last year to revise our evaluation process so that it's more meaningful, valuable, and provides appropriate feedback to certificated staff regarding their performance of duties and responsibilities. This will be a pilot year as we implement this. These attachments that you have behind here are all the forms that have been created to allow us to evaluate. One of the things that we're excited about is currently there's one evaluation form no matter the job. So from a counselor to a teacher on assignment to a psychologist to a deaf of hard of hearing teacher, they're evaluated with the same form. This allows for differentiation, and each evaluation is catered to the specific responsibilities of those jobs that these certificated employees perform. So we're asking for the board to approve this MOU so that we can use these new evaluation forms for this school year. And then we've already agreed that this year we will both be negotiating to put this in the contract, so it will become our way of doing business as we move forward.
So I just have a question. So you have the performance standards, and then you go through and you have the evaluation rubric. So I'm assuming where you have not meeting, developing, and meeting, that is the new terminology instead of satisfactory and unsatisfactory?
You are correct.
Okay. Just make sure I understood it. So the whole district's moving to these three new...
Correct.
Okay. Got it.
Any other questions for staff? Is there a motion?
I move approval.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item G12. This is the approval of new management position, Expanded Learning Program Director.
As you are very aware, we have a very popular program that Ramona Unified offers to families and students to provide activities for before school and after school through our Expanded Learning Opportunity Program. The numbers of this program have continued to grow, and the trends indicate that that will continue to grow as long as we can continue to support it with staff. Along with the growth of this program comes additional responsibility for those who supervise the program. In addition to the students, the number of students that we've grown, the number of employees that need to be supervised have grown as well. So in all, we've had the growth of the program come with additional responsibilities, additional forms that need to be handled, reports that need to be made. And so we're looking to the future, and we believe that in the near future there will be a need to have the person that's overseeing the Expanded Learning Program be the Expanded Learning Program Director, as these reports that were required by the state to submit have become very complicated, they're very dynamic, and so those responsibilities have grown. And so we're currently not there, we wouldn't be posting this position, but we're looking ahead that in the coming months or weeks, we believe that this position will be needed. So we're asking for approval to put this onto our management salary schedule.
Questions for staff? Dan, you're up.
I just wanted to approve it right away.
Yeah, there we go.
So what's the difference between Thrive and this program?
It is the same program.
Hang on a sec. Dan's not done. Dan? Okay.
I'll second your motion.
Okay. Now Maya, you're up.
Yeah, you explained it's the same thing. Okay, so so we're adding more management. Okay.
We're adding a higher level of a management class, yes.
And we're still keeping the current position who supervises
That
this program.
decision hasn't been made yet. We'll need to determine that as we move forward.
So the new position could be instead of the current management position?
that's a possibility that will be discussed with the district leadership, yes.
So if we vote to add the position, does mean that we will also vote to eliminate the current management position?
That is not the recommendation at the time. We're only recommending to place this current one on there in the event that the trend is showing that we'll need that, but we have not made a decision yet about if we add that and eliminate another.
So we might have both?
That would be a possibility, but again, we haven't gone that far in the conversation.
Thank you.
Roger, you're up.
So, this is all based, excuse me, it's all based on enrollment of students and which is need. And then also, we have these new dollars, which is from the ELOP fund. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that this is not just coming out of the general budget without it being funded. So this is being funded specifically for those dollars, and as it grows, we're going to have to add more employees. And so this totally makes sense to do this. I will tell you that I've heard from the governor's office that the acronym of ELOP will probably be changing, so get ready for that. And then the other thing is that it's still kind of up in the air. We're going to have a race for the governor again. Gavin Newsom is not going to be our governor, so somebody else will be there. We don't know how things are going to change. So it makes sense to me, based on our current need, to do it. But we may have to change things. We don't know. So I just want people to be aware. Yeah.
I think this is a practical solution to an upcoming challenge. I commend the staff for getting ahead of the problem.
So did I understand Roger correctly that any positions, director, management, and everything else related to this program will be funded from a particular restricted money that can only be spent on this program, and it's coming from where? From the state, yeah? Okay.
That is correct.
So the district will not spend any general fund money on any for any purpose for this program? Okay. Pardon me?
We won't be spending any unrestricted general fund dollars. However, the ELOP program is on the restricted side of the general fund.
And we get money for ELOP only?
Yes,
Yeah,
that is
okay, we
correct.
get, okay.
From the state.
So it's fully funded by the state?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The state's committed $4 billion for every single school district for this. So it's a lot of money. I forgot how much we're getting. Do you know what it is off the top of your head? Oh, you can tell us?
That information will be discussed in H4.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Stay tuned.
So, remind me, Dan, you were the motion, Roger, you were the second?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions for staff? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item H1. Maya, you asked for this to be pulled, so it's all yours.
Yes, I had a general question about contracts. For example, I understand that some contracts are already signed. For example, the Crisis Prevention Institute contract was signed by UTORI on July 2nd, and the effective day of the agreement is when it's fully signed by the parties, which was a month ago. I understand once you sign it, it goes to the other side, they sign it, and it's fully signed, and it takes effect. So what happens if a contract doesn't get approved by the board a month later after signing by both parties and the money is already paid? What's the recourse? Does the contract get terminated and the district gets the money refunded, or is the money lost? What happens?
I'm going to defer to Dr. Thurman since you had asked that question to him previously.
Okay.
Sorry, Mrs. Phillips, can you repeat the last part of your
Yes.
question? I apologize.
My questions were sort of interconnected. What happens if a contract, after it got signed a month ago, for example, doesn't get approved by the board a month after signing, and money is already paid? What's the recourse? Do we lose the money, or does the contract get terminated and we
No,
get
we would have to
refunded?
work with that vendor. For this particular situation, we had reached out because This was agreement that we were working with our unions about providing some specialized services for our staff. In order to do that in a cost-effective way, we needed that approved so we could start that right away and not put it off towards the end of the school year. So that's why we talked with the board president about us trying to do a approval early on to save money, because the certification is different than another organization that does this called PROACT. So if this does not go forward, then we would have to go back to the company and work with a different company and schedule it towards the end of the year. So
Wait.
that is a comment you can make when we're approving it or not, if you disagree.
So if we don't approve, then what happens to the contract, to the money paid?
The services have not been rendered. They have not provided that at this time. So we would have to go back and talk with them about that to change that.
So we never pay the money before we get approved, even if the contract is signed a month before, then we approve it a month later, so we
The s-
don't pay the money?
The services they have not provided the services yet, so we would go back and talk to them if that happened.
So if the services are not provided a month later, why would it be signed so early? If they,
Because we needed to get on the schedule
Mhm.
and get it processed, because this was coming in June. We weren't able to do that at that time. So we're in August now. School starts right away, so we need these services right away. So that's why we requested
get-
that we do a retroactive approval like we've done with others.
get unscheduled, how often do we do this, that we sign a contract first and then approve it a month later?
Whenever there's a significant need, the board president and I talk about it and what's going on with that. We do have another item coming up in the future that will hopefully address that, because it is a challenging situation sometimes.
So we take a risk if we get on schedule and pay the money before the board approves the contract?
When it's going to serve students, ultimately, yes, we do that. Sometimes we'll retroactively approve personnel, contracts, those kind of things that would impact a school district, would impact children at schools if we did not do that. So the answer is yes, you're right.
It's a risk.
We do retroactively approve personnel and contracts sometimes.
But yes, it's a risk, right? Or not?
Not to staff, it's a staff recommendation. We look at all risk. If we think it's significant, we talk with legal
Mhm.
before we would ever make that recommendation. So no, to staff, it's not. We
No,
take
not
all
to
the
staff.
risks.
I mean, risk of losing money if the contract doesn't get approved by the board, if we pay the money.
That's a statement or a question?
It's a question.
Okay, and I just answered that. No, staff looks at the risks before we would ever make a recommendation to the board president. And for staff, if there was a big legal issue, we would talk with our legal counsel about that to get their input. But we have not felt there was a significant legal risk in the situations that we've brought forward.
Well, asked about financial risk. Yeah, not legal. And
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your last comment, but
oh,
did you want to say it again?
legal risk didn't enter my mind. I was asking about financial risks.
And we
Yeah.
have not paid this bill yet, have we?
I think have we already
Have we?
submitted that? It's in the
I'm
process.
not sure.
but
I would have to take a
Okay,
look and
not a
get
problem.
back to you on that.
No?
It could be through the process, but we have made a commitment so that we can schedule it.
Okay.
And also food and nutrition services. And I already asked you at the to-buy meeting, and maybe you sent a response, so maybe but I haven't seen it yet. So why the Gold Star Food contract increased by about 40% and the Cisco contract by about 60% with no increase in student enrollment?
Yeah, so what happened there is, and there is a response for you about that, but the budget for that, for the coming up year, was based on the prior year without counting our Thrive students, which are significant, and also without any allocation or accounting for the increased interest in our food service program. So we've had an increase in students who are wanting to eat food in school. They've done that with, what do we call it? Not just fresh food, but we call it
It's actually, there's law where we have to increase our amount of freshly prepared meals and meal ingredients. So when the Director of Food and Nutrition Services was putting together these contracts, he looked at the participation rates for 22-23 erroneously. He needed to have looked at the participation rates for 23-24 because we've had incrementally increased in participation every year. Even though our enrollment has gone down, the participation rate due to universal meals has gone higher every year. So when he was looking at trying to gauge the contract amount, he initially, in error, looked at the wrong year.
I didn't realize we were
Participation.
only cooking for the students who expressed interest. I thought we were cooking for all students. Incorrect, right? So we're only cooking, so we're just registering somebody who wants to eat and then we only cooked for those?
No, it's a guessing game. I mean, they use data, but there's no way that they can plan for every kid who changes their mind when they come to school that day. Oh, that smells good.
There's
I
no
want
way
pizza.
we would waste a whole lot of food
Right.
because we don't have a 100% participation rate for all students in the district. I can't tell you exactly what the participation rate is overall. I just know that it has increased every year since universal meals has been introduced. And because of that, the amount that we have to consume and purchase goes up, as well as with the rules regarding freshly prepared meals, and we're elevating entrees. We're trying to still get more students interested in the school nutrition program. So that's what came into play in changing these amounts for the contracts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We don't have a contract, Brian, authorizing you for any amounts to sign contracts yet, huh? We don't have any,
Are you referring to the policy that you looked at earlier?
something that was on our draft agenda, that's something about
Yes,
contract
that was for
authorizing.
board information only. Yeah,
So
it's
we
not
don't-
on the agenda.
So you don't have this authority?
No.
Okay.
So, Tori, it is a little concerning that our budget for food and nutrition is now doubling. Like, did we really miscalculate that dramatically?
Unfortunately, yes. However, I can assure you that this program absolutely has the funds to support the increase in the contracts. This is a very solid and sound program, and unfortunately, it was just an oversight on the director's part. And we've discussed that, and there's a better system that will be in place when gauging. And you also have to, and I beg your pardon, there was also a 5% increase in price
Sure.
as well. So that's taken into account, as well as the consumption, as well as the, take into account the increase of freshly prepared items and changing some recipes and elevating some entrees. You know, by
Right.
using different cuts of meat and everything like that, and having higher quality ingredients and things of that nature.
Okay.
The program can absolutely sustain this.
All right, it's just a little concerning that between these two vendors, our previously approved total was 310, and now we're bumping it to 590. That's a pretty dramatic difference. So,
That's understandable, and
Yeah.
I don't expect that this will be coming back for any increases throughout the year.
I would imagine not. And, just sound budgeting, right? We have many years of budget numbers to look at for food and nutrition. So it just makes me raise an eyebrow that, okay, how did we get so far off with this one? So thank you for bringing it.
You're
And,
very welcome.
Yeah, I'm glad we're feeding quality food to kids.
I just had a question. I don't know if it's for Brian or Tori. Is it possible that that you guys could put all these contract services together and approve it at the last board meeting in June for the upcoming year? Is that possible?
Are you talking about for food and nutrition, or all of them in general?
I'm just saying all of them in general. Would we be prepared and would we know what services we need in June? Then we could approve them in advance and not have to come in after the fact and approve them when they're already needed. We would be approving in a timely manner, because right now we're approving after the fact.
Well, I'm sure not all of this food is purchased all at the same time, right? So this is.
It's just the contract, that's what I'm
Right,
asking.
it's just the
So I'm like,
contract.
if it's possible, it could save you time in August and July by doing it early, I don't know.
Yeah, and that always is the goal. You'll see this original proposal was in June 26th board meeting. It's just that upon realizing that we didn't plan for all the necessary variables,
Okay.
we're bringing it back now. But that is always the goal, but it is really challenging at the end of the year because June they're finishing budget,
Right.
they're doing
Right.
all kinds of things
That's
that
why I was
involve
asking.
the
I-
whole finance team, so it does get challenging. But that is the goal, of course. If we could
Okay.
bring everything in those 2 June meetings and be done, it really helps us in July and August. So.
And then we have this contract for busing that we're supplying to Julian. We also have facilities that we're renting out. How much do those offset this price? And I just thought of it, so I'm
Offset the
asking
price
right
of
now,
of food.
of all of our contracts. Does that, I mean, how much
Yeah,
does
the
that offset
income
cost?
is.
I was just curious.
It's on page 8.
Thank you.
We didn't put an amount on these because
Yeah.
it's billed per hour. It's billed as services rendered, but I can look back at historical numbers and get you some information about how much revenue these contracts have brought in the past, if you would like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want you to put a ton of work into it, but if it's easy to get,
I'll look
that'd be
into that
nice to know.
and provide that to you very
Okay.
soon.
Thank you.
And I would just emphasize something that Tori mentioned earlier. The cafeteria fund, the cost going up does not come out of the general fund either. It's paid with the dollars that we get for lunches, so it's a.
It's a
it's not
categorical, yeah.
Exactly, it's not a general fund impact.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions for staff? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move approval.
Got a motion? Is there a second? I will second this motion. All those in favor? Aye. I'm sorry, Maya, did you?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item H4, which is information regarding revisions to the 2025-2026 district adopted budget.
Governing Board, based on the contents of the governor's enacted budget for 25-26, the district determined it was necessary to make revisions to our district's adopted budget. Due to the material nature of these changes, we are bringing forward this information item to provide full disclosure of the adjustments made during the first 45 days of the fiscal year in compliance with Ed Code 42124. These changes were shared with all of you and made public on Friday, August 8th, and were posted both in the published board packet for tonight's meeting and on the Finance Department's page of the district website. The list before you reflects the budget changes as of August 6th. This is not an exhaustive list of potential changes between now and the September meeting when I'll be presenting unaudited actuals. The items shown represent adjustments made so far as a direct result of the governor's enacted budget. If you want to look at the table, I'll go through each of these for you individually. I don't know what page it is in the packet, I'm sorry.
Almost 2 minutes.
The revenue that we are
218.
anticipating receiving based directly on the enactment of the 25-26 budget is, we are receiving some of the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant funds. They are being restored. Do you want me to pause? I'll pause until he gets to that
Yeah,
page.
it's, on mine, it's page 218, I believe, that you're talking about.
Yes, that's it right there. Thank you, Jeremiah. Okay, so the first revenue item up there is Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant Funds Restoration. So the state 2 years ago rescinded a portion of the funds for this block grant. They took a little over $600,000 back from Ramona Unified. However, what they've restored using a different mechanism for funding. So we're not getting back the full amount that they rescinded. We're getting roughly a third of that. So we're anticipating receiving $226,345 back. This is a restricted funding source, and will continue to be used for what the plan is for the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant funds.
Is there a time requirement on that?
There is, is it 2028, I believe, is when it expires. So we have time to use it. It will just go back for the uses for the plan for those funds. The second item is additional transitional kindergarten add-on for the 10-to-1 ratio implementation. This is an element of the LCFF calculator, and because TK is now going to 10-to-1 and birth dates are on or before September 1st, they're now fully funding the transition and understanding that more teachers, more staff are going to have to be hired in order to maintain the 10-to-1 ratio.
So the previous funding was based on a 12-to-1?
Yes. And so they've added additional funds, and we're expecting to receive a little over $500,000 in addition to what we had already planned in our budget for this year. And that's due just based on the fact that they've changed that funding amount, and we're showing an increase in our TK compared to prior years, where we have more students this year. So that's nice.
The students that we have required 2 additional classes, right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
And the third revenue source is this is a brand new block grant. It's the Student Support and Professional Development Discretionary Block Grant. We are expecting to receive a little over $1.4 million. We have yet to develop a plan for these funds. I will be bringing that along with unaudited actuals in September to the September 11th meeting, but that is the amount of the funds that we are anticipating to be receiving. And while the title says Student Support and Professional Development, they are fully discretionary funds, so we will be developing a plan for those. Lastly, in response to Roger's question from earlier, Member Dome's question about the ELOP funding, we are expecting to receive an additional $1.8 million from what we had initially budgeted for this year for ELOP. It's tier 1 funding, and because we have a higher UPP percentage, we are in that tier 1 because we receive supplemental and concentration dollars. So
I was just curious because they added 35 million across the state, and I had no idea how much that was going to equal for us.
So what is
yes, the Thrive budget is quite large. And in relation to that, we'll be talking about some added expenditures for that program down below as well.
Yeah.
So what we have that we will also be entering into the budget expenditure-wise is that second category on the table that you have been provided. And so expenses that we will be adding to the budget that have happened after budget adoption is the change to the mileage stipends. They were revised at the June 9th meeting. That was after we had finished the budget for budget adoption. So I will be adding, or the $14,000 of expenditures will be added, and you'll see that, and that'll be incorporated in the data that you receive next month. In addition to that, there has been a residential treatment center placement for one of our students, and the cost of that annually is $275,000. That's adding to our special education budget. Additionally, we have 2 new non-public school placements that have also happened since budget adoption, and one of those students requires a 1-to-1 aid. And the annual cost for those 2 students and the 1-to-1 aid cost is $160,000. That's also going to be added to the special ed budget. We've added a clerk 3 position at Ramona Elementary to help with the support that is needed in the office for scheduling all of the IEPs that are done at that school site, and it has taken the admin assistant away from the other duties in the past, so we realize that support is needed there. So that's $22,000. In tonight's contracts, there was a contract for PowerSchool Predictive Enrollment Analytics Software. Thank you for approving that. I think it'll be a great use of funds in order to better predict enrollment for future future projections, and for looking at demographics of the students. So thank you for that, and that's going to be $16,000 for 25-26. And lastly, we're adding 5 additional expanded learning assistant 1 positions for the Thrive program. Right now, those are totaling $95,000, those additional 5 positions. So that will be offset against the revenue that's received in the program.
So what is tier 1? Is it the youngest age-wise, or it's the lowest
No,
income?
there's 2 tiers of funding, and it's based on a district's UPP percentage. So that's the unduplicated pupil percentage. So that's the students that are English learners, qualify for free and reduced lunch, or free and reduced price meals, students experiencing homelessness, foster youth. All of those students that make up that unduplicated pupil count, and the percentage of that is what determines whether we qualify and we are in tier 1 funding or tier 2 funding. And because we are over over 55%, we qualify for tier 1 funding.
So we got 1.8 million for Thrive, but we only hired, not hired, but open positions for just under 100,000 from that money. So we still have room
adding,
to. Okay.
That's not all the positions in the program. That's just some additional positions.
Additional. So we still spend the new money we received on what? 1.7 million.
Yeah,
ELOP.
exactly. There's plans for other things to come. They just haven't yet. They're being discussed. So there's more things to come there.
Because I think we don't have enough spaces for Thrive. It's because we don't have enough staff, or because we don't have enough money. Which is it? Now we have money, right? Staff.
And it always
So we
has
can-
been staff.
Can't hire enough
Okay.
staff to keep up with the wait list that we currently have.
So we have money. We just don't have people to fill the positions.
We currently are hiring, or have worked with HR Sorry. We currently are working with HR to fill vacancies with certificated subs so that we can get as many people off the wait list as possible while HR actively posts and recruits for those positions that are remaining vacant right now for Thrive.
Did you say certificated subs?
Yes.
So are these typically certificated positions?
No, they are not.
Interesting.
So
We do not have a classified sub pool.
Right.
And so certificated subs are used, which for these positions in the before and after school program.
So do we need a sub list for this in the future that's not certificated?
I'm not sure that we have just like we have the struggle with actually hiring classified staff in positions, I'm not sure we have in Ramona, there aren't enough people who want to be a sub in a classified position for the pay that is a classified position sub might make. I think in the district we maybe have 2 or 3 classified subs, like clerical classified subs that we know of, clerical. And then it's very small pool of people who are interested in subbing in those types
So
of
we don't have a
positions.
sub list for food and nutrition services, cafeteria? Oh, we do.
Custodial,
Bus drivers?
bus drivers, food and nutrition services, yes, we do.
So should we be developing that for Thrive?
We constantly recruit for it,
Right.
so we're very open to that, and we're actively pursuing it.
and the money that we receive for Tier 1 and facilities we use Tier 1 money for, are they only open for low-income students or for all students in the district? Where we use Tier 1 ELOP money? Tier
Uh,
1,
for-
pardon.
for-
Tier 1.
For
sorry.
the Thrive program,
Yeah.
the first
Tier.
priority must go to unduplicated students. So if we bring in a wave of students into the Thrive program, the first space goes to those students who are unduplicated. And we also are simultaneously running a pay-for program so that we can also allow families who are not unduplicated to actually have before and after-school care. But we can't offer that program to families if we have unduplicated students on the wait list. It's a very tricky dynamic with the funding and the state requirements.
Thank you.
So I just had a question. You were saying that the threshold was 55%. I thought there was something that it had changed with the increase in money to 70 or 75%.
It's not that. I'm certain it's not that.
There was something about it.
I'll double check and
When
I
we
can
went
get
to-
back to you.
We went to the
Um,
school services meeting. It was on the thing. I can't
Yeah,
remember. what it is.
I don't want to misspeak, so I want to,
Yeah.
let me look at that and get back to you on that exact percentage and what,
Okay.
but I can tell you, we qualify for Tier 1, and I know that our UPP is not 70%.
Yeah. So I just was trying to remember what the percentage was. I just
I'll-
remember there was a change.
I vaguely recall that the Tier 1 used to be 70% and it's been
So-
dropped
It's gone down.
down.
So it's the
to-
other way.
Correct.
Okay. And then I know I already mentioned this in Ramona High, but Oakland Unified somehow is able to use their ELOP money for 7th and 8th grade. I don't know how they're doing it. We really need to look into that and see if we can expand it. It would be really advantageous for our students if we could do so.
We could if we were serving every single unduplicated person who's on our wait list in TK6.
So that's how they're doing it.
Correct. So they've been able to take, they don't have any unduplicated families waiting to be in the program. So once you've exhausted that, you can bring it over to 7th and 8th grade. What we tried to do in this year was we tried to take our pay-for type of a program and offer it at OPMS. When we sent the surveys out, we only got, I want to say we had 17 responses from incoming 7th graders and incoming 8th grade families showing an interest for the after-school program at middle school. 17 families, and of the 17, I want to say, if I'm remembering right, there was about 13 or 14 who actually could commit, and that wasn't enough to pay for a staff member, and that was taking them to Ramona Community School in the afternoon, because we couldn't house it actually at OPMS because we just don't have the grant any longer, the ASIS grant any longer there. But we were trying to come up with different ways, but we can't use ELOP funds until we have 0 unduplicated off the wait list.
And how many more students will that take?
We have about, I want to say, 190 more on the wait list right now, currently.
So that's a state requirement to place unduplicated students first.
It is a state requirement to place unduplicated students first.
That's some kind of a law or just recommendation?
It's law,
It's a law.
and we're audited on it.
Have
We have been able to run 2 programs, one that's a paid-for program and one that's through the ELOP dollars, so that we can serve those families who are not unduplicated, but the space is limited in that program and in our unduplicated program because the pool of staff is not large enough. So if we had more staff who were, and we're recruiting, we're trying, we're doing all of the things, and we're actually, I think, getting some pretty good response right now is what the manager told me this morning. She's pretty excited. Every day she comes down telling me, we got 10 more off the wait list. We got 10 more off the wait list. She's trying so hard. Her goal is to have 0 kids on the wait list. That is absolutely her goal, but we need the staff. And currently we don't have the staff to get everybody off the wait list.
And what age do you have to be a staff member?
Technically, you have to have graduated high school to be counted for in the ratios. We do have student workers who join us, but we can't count them in the ratios.
We need
So,
to sell this. This is the best job while you're going to college.
yes.
Something like that.
She loves to capture her student workers and bring them back if they stay local and they're in college,
Awesome.
or just local.
Well, that's awesome. That's a great report.
All right, any other questions for staff? This is information only. All right, we'll move on to item H5, Item H5 is the second reading of Board Bylaw 9250, remuneration, reimbursement, and other benefits.
This bylaw had a first reading at the June 26th board meeting where the board discussed CSBA's sample language for Board Bylaw 9250. Based on the input and direction provided during that discussion, the following revisions were made to the draft bylaw. Under the compensation section in option 2, the amount of $240 was entered as the allowable monthly compensation in accordance with Ed Code 35120. Option 1, under the health and welfare benefits for current board members was selected, and option 2 was selected under health and welfare benefits for former board members. Strike-throughs were applied to the section regarding compensation for student board members. Tonight, the revised bylaw is being presented for a second reading.
Any questions for staff?
Yes, on page 3, there are a couple of places where it says, right under option 1 ends here, it says any other board member. And the next paragraph says pardon me, let me go back. It says any other former board member, okay? And the next paragraph says any former board member. So what's the difference in meaning? What is other former board member?
I believe that the term is used interchangeably between the two. I also believe that where it sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. Where it referenced student board members, maybe what it's trying to incorporate there too with any other board members, but we are striking out the student board members.
Right.
So it would be encompassing them if we were choosing to include that.
Well, I don't see how we could. They're not elected.
So any other former board member is the same as any former board member, right? It's not a term, correct?
For clarification there, Mrs. Phillips, I think it starts up at that larger title, Health and Welfare Benefits for Former Board Members. That's where you see it first mentioned. Former board members may participate in the Health and Welfare Benefits Program, and then the next paragraph talks about health and welfare benefits for former board members shall be no greater, still referring to the same thing. Then it has option 1 with some very special details there regarding dates. And then option 1, under option 1, and where it says option 1 ends here, it says any other former board member, meaning someone who does not meet that requirement, that it's crossed out. So I think it's all referring to, all within that section on former and any other former.
I see. So since we eliminated the previous paragraph, then we don't need to specify any other former board member because there's no distinction anymore to make, because we eliminated the previous paragraph. So we can just strike other from the next paragraph, so to make sure it's not some other different term from something else. Okay.
So let me jump in here. Is there support for that suggestion?
I had the same issue in reading this. It seemed that we had two statements here that were redundant.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, my question was, what is the difference between these two? I see the language of leaving office versus retirement. I don't know if there is a difference with that.
Maybe resignation versus retirement? I don't know. I'm
I
just
don't know,
throwing it out there.
but I puzzled over the language the same as Maya, maybe with
What's
a little
the difference in
different
meaning? I read
understanding.
both paragraphs. I couldn't tell what's different in the meaning.
So, yes,
So there is support for removing other.
Mhm.
Roger, you good?
Yeah, I think removing other and former.
Okay.
Let's just get rid of both of them, and the reason for that is because it says, even in that sentence, it says if coverage is in effect at the time he or she leaves office. So you have to be a current board member to even initiate the process.
so are you suggesting we take out the words other former and
Yes.
just stick with any board member who served at least one term may participate, et cetera, and then remove the following statement
Yeah,
that is
because,
somewhat redundant?
no, I would just take out other former board, or other
Yes.
former. That's it, because if you take that out, it's no longer contradictory.
Yes, and then moving down to the next one that's listed below
Oh, below
option
there.
2.
Okay.
Yeah, which appeared to me to say the same thing.
It's the same thing, yeah.
So take out former.
I would say strike that language
Yeah.
completely.
That whole
Does that
section
work?
under option 2?
The repeated one.
Yes,
Just get rid of that, and then in the one above it, just strike out
Yes.
other former.
correct.
Are we in consensus there? Anybody, let me just say, anybody opposed to it? All right, let's move forward. Any other comments or questions about this?
Just a comment, I had it clarified with Brian, that when it says his or her own expenses, what that means is we're paying the same as staff. That's what that means. I was trying to get that clarified before, because I didn't really know what it meant. But
I
that's
do
what it
not
means.
think that's the case.
Under
Tori
former
has some
board
clarification
members,
from legal. Yeah.
Under his, her own expense.
under the section health and welfare benefits for former board members? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes,
Okay, that is at his or her own expense, period. It's there.
Not the district paying a share.
No,
okay. so
and
you
that
pay-
is based on government code.
So you pay the full, so.
You pay the
So while you're a
full
board
cost.
member, while you're a board member, you receive, or you pay the same as staff, and then when you're retired, you would pay the full amount. So it's
That is
about
correct.
15,000, so you would pay about 15, divide 15,000 up approximately.
By 12?
It would be whatever the annual cost is and divide it over 11 payments.
But
12.
essentially that, that is kind of the same, not counting the bridge. After the bridge, staff has the same opportunity to do that, don't they?
Staff that qualify for the bridge have that opportunity. However, because of law, cannot be offered to board members once they retire
Yeah.
from
Once they
service.
leave their board service.
Yes,
Right.
that is
That's why the word
correct.
former there is important for that section.
I
But
see.
what you're referring to, Roger, I think is answered on the page before where it says health and welfare benefits for current board members. So current board members can opt in at employee expense. It's the page before, it's page 2. But former board members are not. They can at the full expense, at their expense.
I'm
But-
just trying to provide clarity. I think
Yeah,
we need
yeah.
to make then we should have a difference between current and former.
Right. And the titles there are,
I think the titles do say that,
it is
right?
there, yeah. Health and welfare benefits for current board members, and then the
And
next
once we
page is
clean-
under the
once we-
former.
Clean up the formatting, I think it'll be clearer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, and I know I'm asking a ton of questions every time we
No,
talk
it's
about
good.
this.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't benefit me. I can't use any of this. However, I want to make sure that it's right, so
Mhm.
whoever can benefit,
Yeah, absolutely.
that everybody knows what it is. 'Cause, I mean, I think it is kind of confusing the way things are written.
Can we see a more cleaned up version next time? So we have a next reading and we
Honestly,
Have,
I'd just as soon be done with it since we didn't make any substantial changes here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So let's ask staff if they have a clear, if they can read back what we think we're saying, and if there is support to make a motion, we'll do that. But staff have an idea what we think we're saying?
I think so.
I can, so
Okay.
under compensation, the option would be to have
One.
the maximum monthly compensation as provided in Ed Code, which at this time is $240 a month. Under reimbursement of expenses, it's the items that are here that were discussed previously. Health and welfare benefits for current board members, option 1 was selected, and that the district shall pay the premiums for board members, for current board members at the same extent that it pays for district employees. So that is the $85.15.
For current.
And then health and welfare benefits for former board members would be a board member has the option to continue coverage once they are no longer a board member. However, it is at their cost.
Right.
It is no longer an 85-15 split. And I would be striking from the paragraph, any other former board, I would be striking other former from that statement. And then under option 2, which would be the option that's being selected, it would say any board member, not any former board member.
It's cheaper than Cobra.
So, given that conversation, is everybody comfortable with that version?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
good.
Are there any other suggestions for changes or comments or questions?
Please repeat the motion.
We don't have a motion yet.
Okay.
We just have clarity. Is this what we want? And the answer is yes.
So since we have clarity, can we do a motion?
Yes, sir, we can.
I motion to approve.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
We have motion carries, 4 ayes, 1 abstention.
Okay.
All right, forgive me, I was taking notes. Next item on the agenda is item H6, which is the approval of declaration of surplus items April 1 through June 30, 2025.
Thank you very much. Before you is a 10-page list of items being declared surplus by the district. Most of these are technology devices that have served our staff and students well, but are now either unusable due to damage or obsolete because of their age and lack of operating system support or available updates. The district recommends approving the list in its entirety so that these items can be removed from our inventory.
Any questions for staff? All right.
Yes. That's a lot of items. Is there any financial impact positive for us? Where do these go?
A lot of the technology gets sold to a surplus company, so we recoup some funds, not anywhere near the amount that we spent on it, but we do recoup some funds. You're welcome.
All right, is there a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion.
Got the motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item H7, which is the approval of acceptance of gifts.
The district has received generous donations that we are requesting your approval and of acceptance for this evening. Donation checks were received from RCC from their PTSA, and RHS received 2 donations from donors that will benefit their auto and physical education departments.
Any questions for staff?
You didn't talk about a popcorn cart?
Yes, Ed Services received a popcorn cart.
Hoo-hoo.
So
And
you
it
guys are
may
making
be,
popcorn.
I had one in my office for years, and people come from,
I
Just get the popcorn.
I apologize for not mentioning that, but it may go to a school site, right?
Yeah, we're thinking about doing some sort of a raffle for a school site or something like that, because we're not going to be serving popcorn in the front lobby at the district office on a regular basis.
That's funny.
but Leslie Wilson's office might have some.
Right?
Give it to the library.
All right, how about a motion on this?
I'll move approval of acceptance of these very generous gifts.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Let's move on to item H8.
Thank you, President Drum. For the last board item for administrative services tonight, Ramona High School has been awarded an additional $60,000 in grant funds from the Foundation for Grossmont and Cuyamaca Colleges as part of the K-16 collaborative grant. This grant supports the development of streamlined pathways from high school to post-secondary education. If this additional $60,000 is accepted, the total grant award will total $130,000. And you all received the details of the grant prior to this evening for your review.
And this is the second time it's gone up, right?
Yes,
It went up
that is
once
correct. It's
before
the
and-
second time.
Okay. Any questions for staff? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move approval.
I'll
Got it.
second.
Motion a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item I-1, which is the superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Drum, members of the board and the public. I just wanted to really, again, honor staff for summer projects. Many things that have not been addressed in the past were addressed this summer, from restrooms that have been closed for years, landscaping. If you've seen behind the scoreboard, it is a different place back there right now. That's happening in several places throughout the school district. Wanted to just do a quick report. The swimming lessons have been a big success. They are going strong, and they had a really good summer. A lot of interest. Visited there several times throughout the summer. Wanted to just thank some of our departments, technology, supporting all of our new staff, and having a really good system to address that. Now, food services, if you notice the food at Convocation, they've been doing some new items for us, ham and cheese croissants and some parfaits. So great job. Transportation, yes, we did still transport some students all summer. Had to get to some special schools throughout the summer. HR, we had a very moving new teacher orientation. Mr. Newman shared some pieces of his story and named some key people in his life since he was young that have got him where he is. We also got to hear from President McDonald about association and all the benefits there, so we appreciate her time, and Miss Geiger as well, talking about induction and all the supports there. I also recently just got to highlight in one of our cabinet meetings, Christina and the HR group with just not having the credential issues that happen at times. Other districts where I've come from have issues with informing, making sure the staff are contacted when their credentials are expiring, and therefore sometimes have to go a few days without pay, and then we have to wait for a hearing from the California Department of Education before they get that fixed. There has not even been one since I've been here, and in many districts those are monthly. So it's a huge shout out to HR, and I would say the same thing for tech with the way that they handle assignments of staff. Misassignments are common in other districts, but not common in Ramona Unified. And it's one of the things I asked about probably my first week here, and we have not had a single one. We had 8 other staff who attended a conference in Chicago from Studer Education, and I'm grateful for President Drum and Member Perfect for coming to that and being with our staff and hearing about that program and just the camaraderie of us hanging out and having fun and learning along with everybody else. Something that Miss McDonald mentioned about staff, Cabinet worked really hard at looking closely at our schools and budgets. As you know, there's a budget shortfall this year. We've really avoided that the last 2 years, while other districts have been doing layoffs and all kinds of things. So we've got some budget crises on our way. We worked really hard, had to call principals down very recently to talk about some changes at their sites. Were not fun conversations, but necessary. These changes, and due to the graciousness of our site administrators and some teachers that needed to move around a little bit, has garnered a savings of almost $500,000 so for the district. So not fun decisions for sure, but necessary. There's also some combination classes that weren't there before, so we know that those are not ideal, but we're very grateful for those staff. Some staff had conversations that were difficult and made some decisions not in their own best interest, but in the best interest of the district, which is absolutely appreciated by all and does not go unnoticed. So really grateful for that. Want to thank our cabinet again for just all the planning and preparation that went into Convocation. We had a lot of fun, and just had a lot of good feedback about honoring each other and showing gratitude, and hearing about that throughout all the, I think I was at 4 different sites today, and people were just really pleased with that. And the food. Someone said, man, those yogurt parfaits were amazing. They asked where we got them. They had no idea it was food services. So we're grateful for that. And then also at this time of year, Karina's hand is over all of these things and organization. And I wanted to add that she does have all the new teacher names at the sites for when you click on the calendar invite for open house. She's already got that done. It was brought up, I think, at convocation by President Drummond, so I know that she's already got that. So when you click on Ramona Elementary, you will see a list of new teachers, so that when you go there, you'll have that information. So we thank her for her organization and all of that. So thank you all. Looking forward to a great year. Been a lot of work that's been going on right now. I'm sure some teachers are probably still in their classrooms getting things ready. So we're grateful. Thank you all.
Thanks very much. We will move on to board member reports and comments. We'll start with you, Dan.
Yeah, I would like to talk about convocation as well. High energy, uplifting, fun. Okay? It was a great event, enjoyed every minute of it, and everyone involved in that needs to be commended. I think the best impact that convocation had was on our new employees who showed up to experience the Ramona Unified School District in Moss. And it was very positive, very good. Kudos everybody involved. And there's this guy named Archie Moore, light heavyweight champion of the world for 10 years. Why? Because no one would fight him. They'd go to a contender and they would say, we want you to fight Archie Moore. The contender would say, no, you fight. I'm not getting you. The other reason is that he refused to fight in New York City. Why? Because the mafia ran the fight game in New York City. And Archie was a man of high character. He would not participate in that. Anyway, he was an outstanding, world-class athlete, outstanding citizen. And he's starting to get recognition right here in Ramona. On Monday morning at 10 o'clock at the MMA Center, Congressman Issa will be here. He's going to introduce legislation in Congress to change the name of the post office in Ramona to the Archie Moore Memorial Post Office. That's the beginnings of the recognition for this outstanding human being. Part 2 is a statue to Archie. That's coming, and it's organized, and we're beginning to raise funds. But Monday morning, 10 a.m., press conference at the MMA Center. I know it's the first of this. I'm not in school anymore, so I can go. 10 a.m., and there'll be a lot of dignitaries there, including someone from the Trump administration, the HUD representative in the western part of the United States. Interesting. So it's kind of a big deal, and you're all invited to be. Thank you.
Dan, do you want to give the address?
Yes, 2102 Main Street, the MMA Center. It's kind of in back of that building, a big parking lot.
Thank you, sir. 10 o'clock. Don?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. We've been at it for a while tonight. Convocation was absolutely outstanding. I can't imagine a better job being done by staff and more enthusiasm from our visiting staff. You guys did a great job hosting. Lots of smiling faces. The format was fun. Tony, thank you. It was really it was a fun time. Hopefully our entire district staff felt the same way. I don't like the idea that we'd be wasting people's time, but I think that was time well spent. So thank you all for that. On our board member reports and comments, I'm going to try and stay focused this meeting and moving forward, that my comments will be more along the lines of the places I visited, the great things that I've seen in the district, keeping it more of an affirmation time. If I have business to attend to, Brian, then I'll try and take that to you in a meeting with you and not do it here much. I'll just report on activities if I can. So I think we may have gotten away from that just a little bit, but I'm going to do my best to get back to that. Studer, thank you very much for including any board members who were able to attend that conference. There was value there. I understand better now what the mindset and thinking is that you're trying to achieve here collectively and individually within our district. That individual focus is very important. So thank you. It also gave a lot of opportunity for us to interact with staff members that we don't spend a lot of time with that have some really important jobs here in the district. I would like to find opportunities to do more of that. Yes, it was structured. We were in a conference, but there were shared meal times, a little bit of time for socializing that way. It helps me understand the people better and the jobs that they do, which then helps me make better decisions here at the board table. I just really appreciated that opportunity, so thank you.
Roger.
I just wanted to thank staff and teachers for their preparation and getting everything ready for school. I know that's always a huge task, so thank you so much. All the curriculum planning and development. Just thank you so much for that. Also, I just wanted to thank Ramona High School and the district for opening the door and inviting me to come and speak to everybody about robotics and the possibility of doing that. I'm prepared to help support that financially because I have received a grant from Apple and a grant from the county to help in this process. Not specifically Ramona, but we definitely can help in that. And so I shared that. I didn't really share where the money came from. I just told them we had it. And then the possibility immediately when school is out at Ramona and Olive Pierce to actually run 3 robotics competitions for all of Southern California here, which has never happened before. So we're looking at those possibilities and seeing if all that's going to be a possibility. So I provided an LOU, which is a letter of understanding with no legal commitment. That's what that means, LOU. Just so the district would see the full outline of everything that's needed from custodians, from tables, literally everything. So I just wanted to provide transparency with that because I'm a board member. It's not my job to tell the district how to do things. I was invited, and I'm just sharing this, and I'm happy to serve in any way I can.
Thank you, sir. Maya?
Thank you so much. So, Darren, before I get to convocation and to my board member comment, I don't remember what you answered when I asked if the corrections to the meeting minutes will be attached to today's meeting minutes and posted online for public, since it's part of the agenda and part of the public meeting. Did you correct?
Please repeat your question.
So the my corrections to the meeting minutes that we voted on earlier, so that's part of the agenda.
Whatever
this
the
be
motion
posted online?
reflected is what will happen.
I mean, the document itself. Usually, there's some document part of the public meeting. It's
I don't know,
usually attached to the
have
meeting
the,
minutes online.
Superintendent weigh in on that. I'm not sure. But the minutes should reflect the motion.
Yeah.
As approved.
Underlined items being added in.
So there's your answer.
Usually, when we have some documents in a public meeting, they're made available to the public.
But they will be.
So
Okay.
I would ask Dr. Thurman to check with legal, and we will follow the law.
This particular document. Okay. So, first, I really regret missing the convocation. I was looking forward to it. It was never my intention to be absent. And that morning I had to take my mother to ER, emergency room, totally unexpected and totally unplanned. So I hope to make it next year. I hope the circumstances will not prevent me from doing so. Now I want once again to request the following action items for our September meeting. This will be the 5th or maybe 6th time I have asked, both in writing and at the meetings. Action item number 1, remove paragraph 13, ethnic studies, from Administrative Regulation 6143, courses of study, until the California legislature appropriates funding for this mandate. Right now, this AR, Administrative Regulation, still says that commencing in the 2025-26 school year, the district shall offer a one-semester course in ethnic studies. But we all know the district no longer plans to offer this course. So if we do not place this on the agenda as an action item, can we at least concur as a board that this paragraph will be taken out of the Administrative Regulation? Can we concur as a board?
It's not an item we should be discussing if it's not on the agenda. So
We're not
I would
discussing.
encourage us, yeah, you asked a question, so I think that's going to prompt discussion.
Are you, I just want to clarify, are you asking for this to be put on a future board meeting as an agenda item, as an agenda action item?
Yes, I understand that administrative regulations don't need to be voted by the board, but they can. And since the phrase in this AR directly contradicts what we're planning to do,
Can I
so to
interrupt you
maintain the
really quick
integrity-
before we have a Brown Act violation? This is not on the agenda whatsoever, so we cannot discuss that because the public was not informed that that was going to be discussed tonight. So we need to stick to board comments and reports, and we'll continue forward there, please.
try to answer
Thank you.
Roger's question. Okay. Action item number 2. Remove the absolutely true diary of a part-time Indian from the revised secondary core.
Can I interrupt you
literature
again, please? That's not on our agenda tonight to ask about an action to take place, and the public was not informed that was going to be discussed. So I'll ask you not to
It's our,
refrain from a
it's our
Brown
governance
Act
protocol
violation,
that
please.
agenda item requests can be done during board member comment or in writing. So one of the ways to do it in the board member comment, to request to place an item on the agenda and specify it should be action item, information item, or consent item. That's I'm following our bylaws and governance protocol.
You may request. We are not able to respond and have a discussion.
I think, just to clarify, I think what's confusing is you're saying it's an action item, but you're not saying, I'd like to request it to be an agenda item in a future board meeting. You should say that and then share what you want to be requesting.
Okay. Yeah, I did that praise earlier. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to apply that praise to both items, but I can repeat. So I would like to once again request the following action item for our September meeting. This will be the 5th or maybe 6th time I have asked, both in writing and here at the meetings. And the action item number 2 that I just requested is to remove the absolutely true diary of a part-time Indian from the revised secondary core literature list for grades 7 to 12 from any other approved lists, and prohibit its use anywhere in RUSD, including the ethnic studies curriculum. Yes, we're not offering ethnic studies right now, but if the mandate ever gets funded, this book will be back in. And because it's still on the
Please limit your comments only to the request. We don't want to discuss the agenda item that may come before us. That would be a Brown Act violation. So please limit it to your request.
according to RUSD bylaw 9322, agenda-/meeting materials, any board member may place an item on the agenda. According to RUSD protocols of our governance team, paragraph 13, a board member may request an item to be placed on the agenda. This is generally done on the board report section of the agenda or by contacting the superintendent or the board president. Board requests shall be placed on the next agenda unless there is a compelling reason not to do so.
Your request is noted.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw nothing in our governing documents that requires a majority of the board for any of this.
Your request has been noted.
I respectfully urge the board president and superintendent to honor our district established legal process.
Again, your request has been noted.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Are you done?
Yep.
All right. I'd like to make a couple of recognitions. I don't think I could go this meeting without recognizing Teresa Grace and what she just continues to do for this district. Yeah, I said this yesterday. She retired a few years ago, but she left a piece of her heart here, and she comes back and visits it regularly, and she just continues to give. And I can tell you from not only a board member but a parent in this district, I can't express my appreciation enough for that. She just is a gift to the community. So thank you, Teresa. One of the other things I'd like to talk about is all those employees for the district that worked all summer to make sure that our classrooms, our books, our computers, everything is ready to go for our kids Monday morning. Jeremiah, you're leading the classified group now. Please be sure and express our thank you to them for just doing a great job. That OPMS looked fantastic yesterday. It was the best it's looked in years and years, and that's because that staff at OPMS is asking, and your members are delivering. Great job. Everybody who put convocation together yesterday, it was really neat. But I don't think I could go tonight without talking about what a great job Mr. Newman did, especially when he recognized a retiring member. He made it personal. It wasn't just, hey, congratulations for your 40 years, thank you very much. He made it incredibly personal. He put in the work, and everybody noticed it. And there were a few misty eyes in that room.
Sympathetic crier.
Right? And you know what, Mr. Newman, that comes from within. That's just who you are and what you do and how you serve. Thank you very much for doing that. It was important. It was important to do that in front of everybody for that employee. Because I'm sure they're all going, man, I hope when I put my time in that people speak so well of me. And that next week they're not even gonna know how that influenced their job, but it's going to influence their performance. So that's all I have. Our next meeting is going to be, I believe, September 11th. September 11th is a special day for this country. I hope to remember to open up the meeting with some sort of remembrance of what happened on September 11th, 2001. But until then, we will not be going back into closed session. So I hope everybody has a great start to the school year. We are adjourned.